in light of the final episode, the finale of Season 4, I am here to rank every major Viltrumite. I'm not going to rank all the nobodies. And see which of the Viltrumites that we know and love. And I'll be ranking their combat. 13 Viltrumite. But in 13th spot, we have the big O, Oliver Grayson. Now listen, I love this guy. He is still, for his level, dude, this guy's what, 2 years old? The fact that he can even throw a punch at his age is impressive for at least human anatomy, maybe not for Thraxian anatomy, or Viltrumite anatomy. I don't know. Oliver is at the bottom simply because Oliver has a history of getting cracked and nothing else. Cracked by Conquest, cracked by Thrag, cracked by 12. Number 12, I'm sorry. Now, I had to search this guy's name for like 2 minutes. His name is Crad. Now, this guy hasn't done much fighting. And what I have seen of his fighting, I don't know if I'll be able to find all these scenes, but a couple of times he just kind of fumbled the bag. Like, he got thrown into space here. I think he threw someone into space. When he was fighting Oliver, he like sat there as a JPEG and didn't move. Like, this guy doesn't seem to punish very well. I never saw him chain. He kind of just got rocked. He kind of threw a punch here. He threw a punch there. We have the only ginger on this list, Vidor, Lucan, and Thula. We saw these three drop down, and by far, I would say Vidor was the least skilled of them all. Why? He does a lot of football tackles, he does a lot of throws, he does a lot of grabs, he does a lot of not very useful. I don't see a lot of chaining from him. He kind of just sits there, like, there's not a lot to say. I mean, technically I could put him higher, but we only saw him in one fight, and he literally got curbed up. Next! Whoa, before I get absolutely slandered in the comments, this is not power scaling. I am strictly analyzing their combat skill. So when I say this, please do not assault me. Conquest in 10. Whatever you're watching on, before you throw it out the window, before you smash it over your knee, Conquest lost his mind, okay? All we saw of Conquest was a guy that abuses his physical advantages and a mentally insane guy. We saw him get packed up. We saw him get packed up by Mark. He couldn't get Mark's hands off his throat. Again, maybe he liked it. Maybe that's why he left him on there. Probably, realistically, he probably enjoyed it. Which, again, no judgment. The guy's been through some tough times. But look at him in his fight against what's his face? What is his face? Mark. Oliver rips him in half. Grabs him and gives him the train treatment. Runs a train, except runs a beach on Mark. He kind of just haymakers. Listen, again, Conquest doesn't need to be the best fighter. Actually, he kind of does, because he did get packed up. Clearly, his physical wasn't that good, because usually, like, oh, a Viltrumite doesn't need to be a very good fighter because they are very strong. But his physical's here, his fighting's here, and his mental's here. So it actually ends up that he gets packed up by most people. Steve Harvey himself. Mustache, bald head, and a belly is at 9. Now, why am I putting Lucan at 9? I do believe he's above Vidor. I do believe he put up more of an intricate fight against Nolan. I do believe that he has gotten more licks in than the previous people below him. However, this man is slower than the other Viltrumites. This man is dumber than the other Viltrumites. This man is kind of like a haymaker brawler kind. He's like, oh, he's like, oh, he's kind of just throwing stuff out there, and sometimes it lands. Like, I did see him get some licks in on Mark. Really, Lucan just doesn't bring a lot to the table. The amount of times I saw this guy get punished for just, oh. He has the same struggles as Vidor the Ginger, except he's a little more intricate, I guess. At number 8, we have the tactician himself, Krieg. Now, I would like to be clear here. I would have put Krieg lower on the list. However, he is a very smart person. He does have a high battle intelligence. He is more of a strategic thinker, so I do think that would come into play and put him above the others. But the amount of times, I mean, let's just put it on the list. Krieg got rocked by Thetis. Krieg got rocked by Nolan. Krieg got rocked by Alan? Thula. Now, Thula, if you look back to the fight against Mark, Season 2, Episode 4, we see some, like, intrigue. You throw a kick, you throw a punch, back. And that's actually more than what we see from any of the people below. Now, on top of that, Thula has the weapon. That is not an easy weapon to use. It's kind of like the Scorpion. What do you call that? Whoosh-ah! It's not an easy weapon to use. And I would like to put her up higher, but the only problem is she did get packed up by Mark. I mean, I want to put her higher, but she did get outpaced and outfought, skill-wise, outskilled by Mark. Period. and because she was literally one-on-one down by Mark, and so I actually had to put Mark above Thula. So if you look in the 6, we have Mark right above Thula, because I watched this scene, and look at this, it's pretty hard to say otherwise. I mean, Mark did walk in and just out hand-to-hand her, like, really, I think Mark is a more skilled fighter than Thula. So I would ideally put Thula a little higher, but I don't think I can put Mark higher than the people above, and Thula has to go below Mark, so that's where Thula's going. And Mark, listen, I don't think Mark should be this high. Mark's 19. Mark's 20 years old. He should not be this good of a fighter compared to these 1,000-year-old ancient entities. But he did wipe the floor with Thula. He literally wiped Thula's behind. Now, I am very much a person. I am a person that likes to steel man. That's what I'm doing with Thrag here. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. And why is Thrag this high when Thrag really has not shown many impressive combat feats at all, because he's just quite literally dog-walked the verse? I'll play one scene here. You see that? Now, a lot of people could say he just did that because he's super strong, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he, due to his increased strength, he has mastered the skill of making such quick, finite movements with his hand that it created a tornado around his hand. And I want to say that and then he chained that into a punch. And I want to say that is a very skilled movement. That along with the statements that he is like bred for war. He's also quite old. He doesn't look it, but he's actually older than Nolan from what I've seen. Like, he is consistently older than Nolan. So I want to kind of bolster Thrag and say that that was a very skilled kind of technique, and I'm going to put him at 4. Now, put him at 5. 3, I have Anissa. Now, Anissa, listen here. Anissa does not have a long history of being intricate. She doesn't go left, right, weave, back, left. But what she does do, that a lot of these other Viltrumites do not, is keep pressure up. She keeps the pressure going. She doesn't let up. And she has speed, and being good at speed is harder than being good with strength, because speed takes a lot more skill to master than strength does, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna put, and if you look at season 4, episode 7, Anissa is actually kind of running hands with Nolan, even if Nolan is kind of holding back because he's conflicted internally and he's worried about his 2 sons. So yes, but she did hold his own against Nolan, and Nolan is a very skilled Viltrumite fighter. And number 3 is Thetis. And now you might be thinking, Tyler, Thetis. And originally when I wrote the list, before I kind of looked into scenes, it was like, oh, here, that, this. I had Thetis at like 8. I had Thetis at potentially 9, maybe 6, maybe 7. But he was not this high. But then I watched the footage. I watched the game footage. And aside of being literally speed blitzed by Thrag, which isn't even a combat diff, it's just a physical diff, he rocked Lucan. He rocked Anissa. He rocked Krieg. This man actually never lost an altercation with another Viltrumite. Look back. At least from what I saw, he destroyed Krieg. He pounded Lucan. He flop-shotted Anissa. Like, this guy never really lost a fight. He just, on multiple occasions, he diffed these Viltrumites. So when it comes to actual combat, now you could say, Tyler, did Thrag just win those because he himself is a physical menace, because age with Viltrumites gains strength? And you could say yes, and I could argue that yes, but the way he won was very much outwitting them. Versatile, quick thinking. He fought differently than the other Viltrumites, which is why I want to put him this high. And at number 2, Omni-Man, Nolan. Listen here. Now, this could just be because we've seen Nolan the most, but I've seen him fight against Lucan, Vidor, Thula, Thrag, a little bit against Conquest. He definitely put hands on Krieg, definitely put hands on Mark. He definitely put hands on Mark. This guy, he shows the quickest movements, he shows the most intricate brawling strategies, he shows that he also suffers the same problems of Vidor and Lucan, but he's able to overcome those because we've seen more fights from him. Nolan is by far the most skilled fighter, I would say, on this list. And now, you guys might be wondering, Tyler, who is this final Viltrumite? Because Nolan is 2. We've already said Nolan, Thetis, Anissa, Thrag, Mark, Thula, Krieg, Lucan, Conquest, Vidor, Krad, and Oliver. Who am I missing? And number 1 I have for best fighter in the Invincible verse, best Viltrumite combatant in the Invincible verse, I have the Peak!